the narrative of racial division has been pushed so hard, and it's like they've brainwashed a generation to believe that racial hatred is everywhere and that white people are inherently racist, and that if you're an ethnic minority, they're your enemy. And as a result, we now have this reverse racism that has pushed away so many would-be allies that would have been on our side in the fight against racism, by alienating them, by calling them names and assuming the worst in others. That's the impression I have. I feel like we've gone backwards. What do you think? Hey guys, I'm out here strolling the streets of London once again. I'm spending as much time as I can out and about now that it's springtime in London, because we generally have pretty nice spring weather, and people always complain that the weather in UK sucks, but it's not as bad as you might think, because in London, well, the weather in UK varies a lot depending whether you're north or south, but London's weather isn't too bad. We tend to have pretty dry winters. It doesn't rain all that much compared to like Vancouver, where I used to live before, where it's always raining in the winter. So yeah, it could be cold and dull, but it's mostly dry. We don't have like long periods of continuous rain all that often. So as long as you dress warm enough, got a warm coat, you get through the winter. But our summers suck. Like, we have a lot of grey, wet weather in the summertime, so that is cause for complaint. But this time of year, spring is often glorious, so I try and get out as much as I can. And today is the first day I've come out without a jacket on, because it's 20 degrees, which, you know, some of you who live in like South America or whatever probably think that's cold, but for us it's beautiful. In fact, I think 20, 21, 22 is perfect weather, because once you get up into like high 20s, 30, then it can become unpleasant, right? Hot, right? Unless you're on the beach. It's great for swimming or, you know, not having any clothes on. But when you're like out and about trying to do your stuff, it can be quite tedious being all sweaty, right? So this is beautiful. And yeah, so I now have a chance to wear my favorite top out as well without covering it with a jacket. This, my Benetton rugby shirt. I love this top so much. It means so much to me. And some of you won't understand this if you're too young, but those of us who lived through the 80s, us Gen Xers, a lot of us have a lot of associations with Benetton rugby shirts, because back in 86, 85, 86, 87, it was the coolest thing you could wear. If you had one of these, it could get you laid. Yeah, like all the cool kids had them. And the company at the time had the coolest advertising campaign, United Colours of Benetton. Anyone remember that? I was so inspired by their campaign. They had all these posters everywhere and TV ads where they'd go dung 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 dung, and there'd be all these models of all different races, and they were beautiful as well. And then at the end it'll go Colours di Benetton.
At Rexroad, USA.
Kia Cameroon. Kampuchea.
Caroline Murray, Jamaica. Peter Knapp, Schweiz.
Mariko Tanaka. Nippon.
Алексей Миронов, Советский Союз. Augusto Cabreri, Argentina.
Gianno Quilichena.
Teo Fabi, Italia.
Amélia Nascimento, Brasil. Paola Fiori, Italia.
Anyone remember that? Let me know if you remember that. But yeah, I was obsessed with Benetton at the time. And I went to school every day in one of these rugby shirts. I had a green and white one like this, and a blue and white one, and I had the duffel bag as well. And I thought I was the shit, and everybody treated you like the shit if you had the Benetton gear. I don't know if it was like this all over the world, but I was going to school in 86 I went to school in Hawaii, and 87 I moved to Vancouver, and in both of those places these tops were like so iconic, and if you had one of these, you were one of the cool kids. Oh my god, my arm is getting so tired. I'm gonna switch. I'm trying to hold the camera further away from me because I don't like being so close to the screen, but it means I have to hold my arm right out. Yeah. So I'm just walking up Tottenham Court Road right now, and look at how empty this street is. It's so bizarre. I'm going to flip my camera around, show you what I mean. I'm not talking about pedestrians, but I'm talking about the traffic. It's so trippy. I talked about this in a previous video where I was saying that ever since London has had the congestion charge and the, what's the other thing called? I can't remember the other thing. But they pretty much got rid of all the traffic coming into central London on these main streets. And I remember when I first moved back here in 99, this street was so busy. I always used to take a bus up this street to get home, and the traffic was so slow. And now it's practically a pedestrian street. Look, there's a dude roller skating down the middle of the street. Isn't it wonderful? I mean, it's not wonderful for drivers. A lot of them moan about this and hate it, but look at that, so cool. Yeah, that makes me want to get some roller skates as well. I used to roller skate a lot as a kid, but I haven't done it as an adult, but I would love to. Yeah, but it's incredible how clean our air is in central London nowadays. And you could practically just like cross the street without even looking now. And Oxford Street is kind of the same too. But yeah, as I was saying, back to what I was saying. The United Colours of Benetton campaign. Does anyone remember that? I was like obsessed with them. And I used to get so excited when the ads came on TV. I actually, oh my God, I was such a geek. I actually recorded them on my VHS tapes. You remember when you used to record MTV and stuff like that? Yeah, I would record all my favorite music videos and the Benetton ads too. But yeah, they were, to me, that represented like a golden era in the sort of racial acceptance movement, because it was like the beginning of something, because we came out of a period that was really racist. Like, I suffered so much racism in the 80s, but there was like so much positive change around the mid to late 80s into the 90s. And I feel like the Colours of Benetton campaign really encapsulated how people were feeling at the time, just embracing cultural diversity and celebrating the beauty of people of all colours. And the models they had were beautiful. It was the first time I'd ever seen Chinese models before. And yeah, it felt like we were moving in the right direction. But then it's also, everything sort of changed, I feel, around like the mid-teenies. When I say teenies is like a British expression, you don't say that in America, do you? The mid-2010s. And I feel race became something that was sort of politicized, and the sort of racial acceptance movement became more about division than unity. And you know, we had things like people started focusing on the negatives, like cultural appropriation and stuff like that. And where I think it really took a turn in the wrong direction was where it no longer became about embracing all cultures and ethnicities and nationalities, but it became a war against white. Do you know what I mean? I mean, that's about the bluntest way I can put it. Because how is it that you're supposed to gain acceptance and move forward and increase the unity between black and white and all the other different races if you pitch white people as the enemy? And that really feels like how it's turned, especially since BLM. I remember when George Floyd happened, and at first there was a sense of solidarity that, you know, everybody of course doesn't want to see police brutality and unfairness in the system. And of course, you know, nobody wants to see that. Everybody is against that. But the way they handled it, I think the movement was hijacked deliberately to divide us. Do you know what I'm talking about? Don't you feel like we were moving in the right direction through the 90s and into the 2000s? But then it all turned negative and hostile. And I feel most people are not racist. The average person doesn't hate other people on the basis of their skin color. They judge others by their character, right? And their actions. But the narrative of racial division has been pushed so hard, and it's like they've brainwashed a generation to believe that racial hatred is everywhere and that white people are inherently racist, and that if you're an ethnic minority, they're your enemy. And as a result, we now have this reverse racism that has pushed away so many would-be allies that would have been on our side in the fight against racism, by alienating them, by calling them names and assuming the worst in others. That's the impression I have. I feel like we've gone backwards. What do you think? Anyone else out there miss the old school racial campaigning we had back in the 90s? Like Love Sees No Color. Does anyone remember that? The Cross Colors campaign? Cross Colors was another fashion brand that came up with the logo Love Sees No Color, when it was all about unity rather than division. Who else misses those days? So I'm going to wrap it up here, and if you enjoyed this video, do please give me a like, and if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please do so, because according to my stats, over 80% of you watching my content are not subscribed, and it really does make a huge difference to my performance as a new creator trying to make my way here on YouTube. So if you haven't already done it, please do so now. Like now, I mean literally, like I'll wait for you. Thank you. And till next time, hope you have a great day or evening.